Welcome, podcast fans. It's time for the What's Up Bro podcast show presented by J&J Production Studios, the home for all your entertainment needs. All kinds of great topics discussed every week, a variety of different themes offered, special guest appearances, prize giveaways, and so much more. Stay tuned. And now, here are your hosts, Sam Crow and Big Hoss.
Hello and welcome everybody. Good evening to you all. Sam Crow here with Big Hoss. How are you, Big Hoss?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Looking forward to the weekend?
Yes.
Sort of, yeah. He's being a wise guy. We're starting already here. In case you guys couldn't tell, and you might or may not, this show has actually been pre-recorded. We have a busy weekend coming up. I know Hoss is busy. You said you have a graduation party Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yup, and we have the wedding Saturday, so it's going to be busy. So we decided that we're going to do an extra special episode for you guys, a little bit longer tonight, and we're going to have
Whose wedding?
Mine.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically Saturday I could be there, but just figure just to cover all bases, it's going to be a long day. So that's why we decided to do an extra special episode for you guys, so that even though we won't be live talking to you, you can at least get your Big Hoss and Sam fix. So you're not to worry there. We want to make sure we got you guys covered. And to start tonight, this is going to be the official intro and what we're going to call our Summer Slam Fest. That's going to be our big summer shows coming up. We have summer holidays like 4th of July going to be coming up. Hard to believe May's almost over already. It's going to be June. It's going to be happening fast. So this is what better way to kick this off than to get ourselves going here. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things summertime related, summer fun things, which we've shared some things in the past there. We're also going to share, I'll tell you guys a little bit about, in case you missed it, which is part of our update, I want to announce that too. I did make a special appearance on the Vigilantes Radio live the other night. I did a special podcast appearance hosted by Deanie. He was a great guy. Talked to him. Looking forward to chatting with him again. A lot of fun. He asked some good questions I was able to talk to and give him a little bit details about us and what we do here. So hopefully you guys listening, maybe you're listeners of the Vigilantes Radio and you heard of us. We're so glad to have you. If you are, welcome. Make sure you check out our link tree. You can follow us on social media. And, of course, you can find all of the streaming services that feature the podcast that we have. Also included is our YouTube channel. You can check it out there, too, if you want. You can subscribe there and get all the latest content uploaded when it's there for you guys. But, yeah, we're going to chat about that. That was awesome. It was a lot of great fun. And looking forward to doing that again soon. What else do we have going on here? Let's see. I'm so caught up with all this stuff. This weekend crash is coming. I think that's about everything we have for now. So we'll jump in here. It's been busy last week, too. We really didn't have... We were kind of pushing it last weekend. We skipped one night. I think we only had one show last weekend. So a lot of things have been going down. And it's just, part of the schedule in summertime. Everybody's busy. So even the best of us, we can only be prepared for so much. And so, a lot of times it just takes the time away. Looks like you're ready for bed already. Are you ready for bed?
Yes.
Are you? Man, must have had a rough day today, huh? You went hot tubbing. Where'd you go hot tubbing?
With my friends.
Oh, that's where you went earlier. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like a hot tub party kind of thing, a pool party?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's always fun. Nice weather, too, right?
Fuck no, it was raining first.
Ooh, that's always... And I imagine the hot tub was outside, so you really couldn't get in there right away.
No, so we waited. We sat there and ate first. And
okay. So at least...
had crab legs.
Ooh. You have to crack them yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, those are... Talk about your summertime fun treat. That's going to be awesome. Nothing better than seafood, but fresh crab legs dipped in butter. Oof. That's the ultimate fantastic meal right there, I got to say. But yeah, no, that's always fun. I mean, it's great to get out and, we break from our normal routines and, everybody's getting ready for plans for vacation, and I have some friends I know are going camping. They usually go camping around Memorial Day. Depends on what the schedule is. They go camping like 2 or 3 times in the summer. So it's really busy time for everybody. So hopefully you guys are going to have a chance. If you're going camping or you're going to the beach, a lot of people go to the shore. Maybe you're having a staycation. That's been pretty popular. I mean, obviously that helped when COVID hit because nobody could go anywhere. But the staycations are pretty popular. I've done a few of those. And I will say this, I want to lead off with this because speaking of timing and, having schedules and trying to plan and, get things done, every time you plan, every time you sort of have a schedule, and every time I know last summer I did this, I tried to pre-plan everything down to the minute, which was great. Problem was, every time I went to follow through the itinerary of the schedule I had, something else got in there and something else popped up and threw my whole routine completely flat off. So I'm approaching it differently this year. This year, I'm not going to have a plan. I'm just going to sort of go with the flow because I'm hoping that maybe that sort of change of pace will work out better in my favor than it has any other given time. So but that's something. Now I know for Haas you're a little bit different, so you're usually pretty easygoing anyway. You don't have a lot of things that are going to bottleneck you. But have you had moments like that though, where you plan to do something and then all of a sudden something else comes up and just totally messes? Yeah. It kind of sucks because, like, I could tell you, I have blocks of time for certain things, whether that's catching up on chores at the house or a lot of times I like to get some reading in or some gaming in. Definitely gaming's on my top list. I haven't done that in a while. I just haven't had a lot of time. But whenever you have those, blocks of time, you just can never seem to sit down. There's always something going on. So even this past week, I don't know how much stuff I did, but there was always something popping up, and it was either something I had to do for me or for somebody else, or somebody roped me in to do something. Again, a lot of you guys probably can relate to that because if you have family or friends that are relying on you for certain things too, sometimes you just get pulled into it and, it drives you nuts. And by the end of the day, I'm just exhausted. I want to go to sleep too, just because, I'm worn out. So there's never good planning for that unless you can get a vacation away. And I highly recommend for you guys, especially because, as I said, my schedule keeps changing even with a staycation. Definitely make a plan to go away. Turn your phones off, stay away from emails, don't go on social media, just totally go off the grid. All right? It's kind of like we tell for Haas, if we go camping, we're going off the grid. No phones, we're not talking to people, nothing of that sort. Because I remember this even too. This is actually a funny story, which I don't know if I shared this. Haas may or may not have heard this story, but I'm going to share it because this is really rather funny. I went on vacation several years back, well, maybe within the last 5 or so years. And part of my planning for that vacation was I made a point of I'll take my phone with me, but I'm turning it off. Like I literally physically turned it off. I didn't even leave it on silent, on mute, nothing. Turned it off. And I gotta tell you, it was great. I think it was 3 whole days. I didn't check social media. I didn't check emails. I didn't check voicemails. I didn't take phone calls. Nothing. I totally lived a caveman or a backwoodsman. I had no internet whatsoever. I had nothing. No access, nothing. Now, the funny part of this story is, by the end of vacation, naturally I had to turn my phone back on, right? Now, you remember, so tell us, Haas, what happens, especially when you put the internet back on, what tends to happen with your phone really quickly when you turn it back on or you let it update real fast?
It goes off like a motherfucker.
Because there's so many notifications, there's phone calls, there's voicemails, there's emails, bing, 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 bing. I had to turn the volume off. It must have went off for about a half an hour. So I'm like, all right, I'm definitely... And the one time, actually, it's funny where I don't get a lot of messages, but this particular instance, when I went in that little block of time for vacation, that's when everybody was trying to reach me. For whatever reason. Even people I had no idea I hadn't talked to in a while, they're calling me. What the fuck? I can't go away for a couple days, and now all of a sudden you guys need something? Gee whiz. Again, a lot of you can relate to that because it just happens. But the point is, that's what you need to do for a relaxing vacation. And keep it simple as well. Don't go overboard on your vacation because there's a lot of planning and pre-planning and packing and expenses, whether you're spending a lot of money on a trip, if you're staying in a hotel, if you're camping. I mean, there's different levels of entertainment you could do too. Just keep it simple, whatever you can handle and maintain. The idea is a stress-free environment. It's not to be overwhelming. It's to get you away from it all. You're going to come back to the stress naturally, Like, I'm sure Hoss you could use a vacation, but when you come back home, there's going to be stuff waiting for you. Just don't take it with you. So, and a lot of people, I know it's hard. I'm one of those too. It's hard to not do that, but it's really the best plan you can possibly do. So that's definitely something that we highly recommend. So speaking of trips, though, so for you, Big Hoss, any big plans this summer? Any summer trips that family or anything like that?
No, not that I know of.
So if nothing else, you're probably just going to have a staycation, right? More or less?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing, really, in all truth. And I mean, the staycation, and if you don't know what that is, which some people might not, staycation typically is when you stay home and you essentially, I don't want to use the term you do nothing, but you break away from your everyday routine. You don't do the normal, everything you do Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or on the weekends, which you do things that you wouldn't normally do on an average basis. And sometimes it works, and if you can make that time frame go in your favor and you can get extra stuff done and catch up on, like me, catch up on reading. I got a whole buttload of books that I need to catch up on. Organizing things, cleaning office space, that kind of stuff. Things that I wouldn't typically get to in the course of a week just because everything else going on. Staycations can be a lot of fun. It can be peaceful and quiet if you're alone, or if you're with family members that don't drive you crazy. So I say that with, oops, sorry, my computer's popping up stuff here. Yes, I'm sure. Unable to find, I don't care. Computers are great, but when they give me all this crap I don't care about right now. It can be a lot of fun, but just find something relaxing to do. And everybody has something different. Maybe we share similar tastes with things, but you can just take your time with it. And I can tell you one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take a page out of Big Hoss's book because I've been thinking about this for a trip. Definitely going to get some more nap time in there because I have not had a lot of nap time lately, and it burns you out. I mean, you wouldn't think so, just looking at it from an objective standpoint, but it does burn you out. So definitely going to get some more nap time in there. And a lot of other things that I had on a list, short list of things to do, but those are the type of things that you want to find. And as long as you're relaxing and you're getting away from it all, that's really what counts, really what matters there. That's the big key component there. So that's the sort of thing we're looking at. Now also, we talk about this a bit too, but this is coming into grilling season. This is what I'm looking forward to, especially about summertime. Getting the grill out, looking at a couple different options. We can make burgers, steaks, all the traditional classics like hot dogs and chicken. But I'm definitely looking forward to some vegetables on the grill, some seafood perhaps, some with vegetables, a lot of shish kebabs, like skewers, like you put on a stick. So those are going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to that, and really just the nice weather. Because I got to tell you, let me tell you guys this: we are starting summer. It's kind of ironic that we're starting our Summer Slam Fest tonight because I'm not sure for you. I'm not sure what's the weather been like in Colorado for you lately. Offhand, rain. What about temperature-wise? Hot, cold? Like, what's the high been?
It's been 70s.
Okay, so today, let's see. Today, I think it's today or yesterday or today. The high was like 55 degrees. 55 degrees in May. Like, I thought summer was. We got a pretty bad tease of summer about a month ago, and I thought that was the start of something. Well, now, of course, the weather decided to screw with us and go back. Now, the high this weekend's only going to be, I think, 67 or 68, so we dipped down. So you're actually having better weather than I am, which is kind of amazing, considering you're near the Rockies up in Colorado, which gets cold, and I'm not. But for whatever reason, we exchange weather, so I guess it's a kind of a trade-off. But you wouldn't think it was summertime overall. But we make do with it. I'm just glad at least that we're trending in that direction, because every time you get into like March and April, which now we're past that, the weather's always back and forth anyway. So we're heading that way, but I guess the cold weather still wants to hang around to some degree to let us know it's there. But the outdoor activities are what I'm getting at, and just being outside, and even if that's just sitting out on the porch or sitting out, if you have a hammock, go for it. Sit out in a hammock, lay out there, get some fresh air. Anything that's going to get you some vitamin D, sit in the sun. Just make sure you wear plenty of sunscreen so that you don't bake or don't fry, because like if you're like me, I don't typically tan. I know Big Hoss has shared that before, that he doesn't typically tan. So what that means is if you're in the sun for a long period of time and sun in the exposure with that vitamin, and vitamin D is great, but you can also sear like a steak. So with that being the case, unless you have sunscreen on, which I highly recommend you do that, if you plan to be outside for a long period of time, then definitely incorporate that. That's a big plus there. Are we starting our snackage now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the next perfect point to bring up there, because snack time is always fun, and Hoss likes the snacks. He's kind of our king grand of snacks here. So what are we snacking on tonight?
Just some hard candies.
That works too. There's something to be said about candies are a classic. I mean, simple, easy, and you can indulge and enjoy them at your own pace and how you want them. So that always works. And we shared this, and I want to bring this up because we talked about this, and we are planning to. We're going to have we're going to call it our studio camping trip. We're going to get together, a lot of us that talk on the show, and we talked about this on an earlier episode. We're definitely going to have Hoss be in charge of snacks, because for whatever reason, he just seems to pick the best snacks. I mean, we could pick some good stuff too, but I mean, every time you bring a snack on here when we're doing this, because obviously we can see each other when we do the show, I'm always hungry because it just all looks so good. And that's even, let's see, what did you have last time? You had, it was a ham or bologna, and you were wrapped up like in, I forget, what was it? Was it sour cream? Not sour cream. Not mayonnaise. I forget what you had. What did you have with that? It was like it's like ham or bologna wrapped up with something. Maybe was it cheese?
Sour cream.
Sour cream. Yeah, that's right. That looked really, really good. And it's those simple things. Your snacks don't have to be extravagant. They don't have to be, super expensive. And we all know, especially if you go shopping, no matter where you live in the U.S., prices are just unbelievable with some of the foods out there. I mean, it's kind of sad in a lot of ways, because even the simple snacks, the snacks that are always fan favorites, just so pricey and so expensive. It's just it's ridiculous in a lot of ways. But so you can find alternatives like the penny candy kind of stuff, the short things. You can find just about anything that's not going to break the bank as far as going to your shopping and food budget. So whatever makes you happy that you can put in there. I mean, some people are just happy with peanut butter and jelly sandwich as a snack, and I know it sounds funny because that's this meal in itself, but I enjoy that for a snack. So, just
not all the time. I wouldn't enjoy that.
Well, here's the other thing. I will say this. I don't either, and simply because now, back when I had COVID, which was a while ago now, and in case you guys don't know this, and a lot of people still don't, but when you get COVID, one of the symptoms you can have is called, you get like phantom smells. And that means you smell things that you think are there that they're not there. It's just the way the brain and the senses work. So you don't know what your phantom scent is going to be. Well, it just so happened in my case, it was peanut butter and jelly. Now, let me tell you, there were some days where I was so sick I could really smell it so much I could taste it in the back of my throat. It made me nauseous. Okay? So to your point for that, I can't have it all the time, because when I get that scent, I still get it now on occasion. I just had it the other day. You can't have it for the rest of your life once you get sick with COVID, but there could be worse things to smell. So, but there's some days where I just taste that and I'm like, it's in the back of my throat, and I'm like, oh, I just want to vomit, and there's nothing there. It's just because it's so much in my nose. So yeah, when I have that, I don't go near it, I don't touch it. It just kind of turns me off to it. So I can't all the time. Same thing like with what's another good snack I can't eat a lot of, or I don't try to eat a lot of, because it's let's see, I just had it the other day. What did I have for snack? It'll come to me in a minute. But that's usually what happens when you have something that you really like, and if you have it all the time, you tend to get sick for it. Well, actually, perfect example. I love growing up Chef Boyardee ravioli, like you can get in the can, right? And I used to eat that all the time. Like, all the time, I could live off that stuff. Well, after a certain period, I kind of got tired of it because I eat it so much. And it wasn't just the raviolis, it was beefaroni. Now you got the bread out there. You're really going to make me drool here, aren't you? The beefaroni or the spaghetti even was good from that. But after a while, I just got sick of it because I ate it so much I had to take a break. So that does happen. Even with your favorite food, you can have a distaste for it or not like it as much for a period, and that's okay. Take a break, find something else. Our taste buds kind of change over time. Especially as from we growing up and from childhood to adulthood. A lot of things. I remember, like for me, and I'm sure Hoss probably you can attest. There's things you like now you probably didn't like when you were younger, right? What's one thing, if you had to pick, what could you think of something that you like now that you didn't like when you were younger that you can think of? I can tell you one for me was onions. I never liked onions growing up, but now I do, so that's one for me.
I think mine was okra.
Okra? Okay. Well, that is an acquired taste. Now, how did you have that? Did you have it straight up, or did you have it cooked with something?
Straight up.
Wow, okay. See, now I don't know if I could do that. I might be able to do it if I cooked it down in a meal and made it with something, but that's a little hard.
Now I have a hankering for fried okra.
Really?
Yep.
Have you tried it with some garlic in it?
No.
That would make it, if you like garlic, of course, but that would make it, give you a little seasoning to your taste buds, but, and again, cravings, things change, and
one thing I didn't like growing up that I like now, well, still not tomato sauce, but I didn't like pizza growing up.
Really? Wow.
We ate it so much, and
okay.
so often that
you just get sick of it.
I couldn't handle the taste of it anymore.
See, now that's interesting because as funny as it sounds, I actually knew some friends like that too that just can't. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going, what's wrong with Hoss pizza? Some people just don't like pizza, and it happens for a variety of reasons, but that's not all.
Nowadays, I love pizza.
Oh, yeah, you chow down on that. That's a growing pain of a change.
There's been a couple episodes where I've actually had a whole pizza in front of me while we were doing our recording.
He's sitting there going like, the fuck did you get that? He's got a whole big box there. He's sitting there just chawing on it, eating it. I'm going, you just sit there, eat your pizza, big boy. You enjoy that. He's like, oh, I'm gonna sit here during the break, and I'm gonna, and then he comes back.
I didn't even wait for the break. I was sitting there. Miranda Lambert.
Well, I was gonna.
Miranda
Maverick
episode. I had a whole pizza sitting here, and I was eating my dinner.
Well, I was gonna say, there was one time we came back from he started the pizza when we started the show, and by the time we took our first break and we came back, he was done. So, actually, speaking of which, that was the other announcement. Thank you for bringing that up, and I did post a reminder on our social media so you guys know, but speaking of Miranda Maverick, she will be joining us again. If you guys missed that first episode, it's up on our site so you can check it out. We had a lot of fun with her. She's going to be coming back. She's got a fight lined up coming up in June in just a few weeks. We're going to talk to her then. We're going to get her on the schedule to come back and share with us what it's like in the ring in an octagon fight, what she does to prepare. We kind of talked about that when she was here last time, about her training and how she normally works out. But we're curious to know more too, like how does your schedule change? Because you're preparing for like a pay-per-view match that's a paid broadcasted like all across the United States, all across the world, and obviously you're on a schedule. So we're going to talk to her about all those kind of things. It's going to be awesome. We don't have a date yet to be determined. Just keep following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll give you guys updates. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's actually, I wanted to share a little bit about the interview I mentioned I did the other night. That was one of the questions that I was asked when I was being interviewed there for us. I went on the show to interview for us for the studio here and for the podcast that we have. And one of the questions that the host asked me was what our favorite episode was so far. And really and truthfully, I said, we said that 2023 is our big year. We want to make some huge leaps, which I think we have. We have a lot more to do, but there's still a lot of the year left. But I said, I think we can collectively agree one of our most favorites was the one with Miranda, because that's probably our biggest show yet because of the celebrity status that she brings. And it was a lot of fun to talk to her, and we got to know some neat information. So, but that was a lot of fun there. And so, but yeah, and you guys know, and if you listen long enough, if you've been here around for a while, we like to have all kinds, between snacks, between the jokes that we pull, which I'm going to let Hoss share. So tell everybody, because this is becoming a running theme here, what kind of joke did you try to play on me again before we started?
I said I wasn't feeling well and I was throwing up, and I wasn't going to make it.
Fortunately, in this case, I was busy up until the show started, so I didn't actually see that, because I probably would have been losing my shit again, because it's been a long night. But yeah, that's kind of the running gag that we have running for there. And again, if you guys missed that, that's a great... We talked about that on a previous episode too. That was... I will say, I still laugh about it because I was so worked up about it and I fell hook, line, and sinker for that. So, yeah, it was a good one. It really was a good one. And I got to say, Hoss would only appreciate it more if he could actually have seen my face, because I was pacing, like, I almost wore a hole in the floor pacing back and forth. Like, I had steam coming off of my head. The veins were, like, popping out of my forehead. Like, you could see the blood piling up in my eyes. Like, I'm like, ugh.
If he was here, he would have drove over and kicked my ass.
I was, it's funny. I was actually thinking, I'm like, you know what? If it wasn't as late as it was here, I would have got a plane ticket to Colorado that night and flown out just to come up and punch you in the face at the door. So, but the funny part was, man, and then when he was like, oh, it's just a joke, and then like, I felt like a jackass, because I'm like, wow, okay, I totally fell for that. And I normally don't fall for stuff, but it was just one of those moments where if you catch me in the right instance, it's not hard to throw me off, because I will fall for that. And I was tired that night too, so it's like, okay. So, we'll get there, but those are the kind of shenanigans you got to expect. And we do that because we keep things light around here. We're not trying to get too serious all the time. We do have deep discussions at times and important topics, but, when we try to kick it back, and that was the other thing I mentioned during the interview too. I said, when he was asked, what makes us different, unique, and what kind of separates us, and how do we have a bunch of different themes of shows that we offer here. We have a bunch of separate podcasts that we have available, and, I was asked, how do we balance that? Well, the simplest thing is we just try to keep things laid back as much as possible. We're just regular people like anybody else. We're not A-list type celebrities. We're not super famous. We're average Joes like you guys.
Famous at all?
Slightly famous. I would say it's not major, but it's minor, because our fan base has grown quite a bit. Like, we're over, let's see, we're at about 600 followers on Twitter right now. That's doubled in the last month, actually, come to think of it. Actually, another thing I didn't share with Hoss too is I noticed, and thank you to you guys too, not only have we grown now our Facebook group, as we're at about, I think, 200, a little over 200 people there. We've got 600 followers on Twitter, and our fan base is actually growing on Instagram, if you can believe it, here and there.
We just slimmed down on those people in the Facebook group, so.
That's gonna be another project. That's kind of why I've been ignoring that. I haven't, I've not given approval to people, because a lot of those accounts, actually, some of them actually have dropped off recently. So that's the only drawback with that. Hopefully, maybe Facebook's algorithms will change, or we can get a little more restrictive on that. But on the whole, though, there's a lot of people there that are good quality listeners, and we appreciate that. It's the same thing even with Twitter. Like, we've had people follow us on Twitter that we don't follow back, just because you can tell the accounts are not real. And eventually what happens is they just disappear. The accounts are just gone. So it kind of writes itself. But yeah, slowly but surely. And with the Vigilantes Radio, they have active listeners every week, 75,000 people, which that's quite a lot in one sitting. So we'll see how the response is. But our numbers have spiked a bit, so we'll see how that goes. And definitely told Deanie we'd love to be on again, so we're going to set something up down the road and try to plug us out, because we're trying to get the word out as much as possible. But yeah, it's growing. But I mean, yeah, we're not at 3 million followers kind of thing. We're not that far. But little by little, it's been growing. Which again, we appreciate you guys so much. We love all of you. So we're not diminishing. As a matter of fact, looks like we have a new follower on YouTube. Look at that. Thank you for whoever joined there. Thank you very much. We do this, and it's fun for us, and it's fun to hang out with you guys, and we hope things will continue to grow, which I'm sure they will if we keep at it, which is what we do. That's why we're here. But if it's not for you guys and a lot of you guys rallying your support, we couldn't do this. So we thank you guys greatly for that very reason. But yeah, but that's really that's kind of why what I said what makes us different is there's so many different podcasts out there, there's different shows, people have different viewpoints, and I explained, I kind of gave the origin story, as a lot of you guys heard, how Hoss and I got all of this started, because how it kind of worked itself together. But the big question was, how do we keep it fresh and unique? And it's just us being us. Obviously there's not another one like us out there. We're the only ones, so it's going to be unique just by that standpoint. But just a laid back feel for it. We know there's enough problems that you guys have. There's enough hardships to face. There's enough stress every day and every week. So we try not to add to that. We're trying to be that relief for you guys. So that's really where we, I think, succeed with that in doing so. And even our own brand of comedy, because again, we laugh at ourselves because we just can. It's natural. You have to do that. So, but that's really the unique thing that I said that really makes us, what we have going, really work. So that's what we continue to work on. That's what we're going to continue to do. And without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you all so much. Again, it's bigger than we thought, and it did grow quicker than we thought anyway, because really a lot of times, it may not seem like a lot, and it's been several months, but some areas they don't grow at all. And some shows, like I actually, matter of fact, I looked because we were doing some editing on the YouTube channel, and actually our channel is starting to get at least seemingly separate from some of the names that are similar to ours but not ours. So because every time if you search for something, there's like several different options that come up, and actually of all the ones that are relatable to what we have the title of the channel named, we're actually more of the active popular one. So, which is a good thing, because that separates us from everybody else, and that kind of draws the attention there. So all those things schematically combined that connect really have a huge impact. And again, we're really grateful for that, and we are hopeful that will continue to be the case, which is also why, as we said, we're still having some struggles with YouTube right now, just because we're trying to keep things separate. We are working on that, which I shared a little bit with Haas. I've got a plan in the works to try to fix that, so that hopefully that will be rectified soon. We're doing everything that we can to proceed on, and we're going to do that. So it's difficult anywhere, no matter what platforms you use, but there's always that little hiccup that's there. Matter of fact, since we're talking about that, we'll talk about this story quick before we take a little break, 'cause I'm sure Haas will love to hear this story, because I shared a little bit about this. And what I did was, on behalf of the studio here, we reached out to some folks to see about hiring, or at least obtaining relationship. Now, we have a lot of royalty-free music that we use. We don't play music all the time, on the show, but we have it for breaks there, and everything we have is protected there, but we have rights to use that. But I was curious, so I contacted the company about if we ever needed like a song that is already covered, this and that, what do we do for that? And the whole process is just it's unreal. Like, just to give you numbers, because Haas and I like to do numbers. So just the startup cost for this company that I talked to. Now, what I mean by startup is you pay a standard fee to contract their services, and then they begin to do the process of working to help you obtain permission to use a certain song or talking to the artist, etc. The startup fee alone was $300 up front.
What the fuck?
Well, here now that's just the beginning. That's just the starting point. Let me explain it further. Now, what they tell you too is that is their cost that this company uses. That's their service fee. That does not guarantee that we can get, like if we go for a song we want, they have to contact like the artist that created the song, all this stuff. There's a chance they could deny us flat out and say we can't use the material if we wanted to. This is just this is how this company operates. And even if they do, they have to negotiate a price for the royalties where we could end up paying thousands and thousands of dollars, because the artist can set the price whatever they want because they own the material. And then on top of that, the company gets I think they said it's a 30% commission from whatever we get for that too. So I'm like, yeah, this is why going into the music business, especially trying that back in the day, this was a lot of extra stuff that we just we didn't need. So we found alternatives for that, where we have different things worked out where we can do that. And especially because if we had channels that were playing music all the time. Now, like in the instance for Haas's case, because you have Colorado music there, we can work around that. That's not a big issue. But for what we use on the whole, we're not necessarily always a streaming service for music for that. So that's usually something we stay away from, because there's lots of red tape to go through and a lot of hiccups there that we try to stay away. So be that as it may, looking into alternatives, figured out other options, and that's what we're going to go for. So but it's interesting just to talk of that process and to really see how in depth it really gets. So just some insight for you guys, especially if you're doing any projects or creating anything with music or any kind of videos or things. Do homework with that and figure that out, because that's very important. So just to give you some insights, but we're always looking for ways to improve the show, and that's really what it comes down to. But we have alternatives in place, and we're going to keep things rolling, which we're looking forward to. And again, speaking of that too, in case you guys missed it from last weekend, be sure on our link tree you check out the official studio store. We do now officially have merchandise there, and you can get anything you want there. I'm sure Hoss is going to... You can do your Christmas shopping now, right? Get something for your family there. So, have you looked at it? I don't know if you actually looked at it, but...
No, I haven't.
There's T-shirts, hoodies, there's magnets, there's stickers, there's phone cases, there's pop sockets. The only thing I'm having trouble with, I did contact tech support from the website that we utilize for the store. We also have a feature of face masks if you still want to wear those, like if you go out in public. We do have them. That's an option available, but for some reason there's a technical glitch on the site which is telling us we can't do that. But the tech support said they're going to work on that, so hopefully we'll be able to put that out there. We will have face masks available. You guys can check that out, which is going to be awesome. But yeah, a lot of great stuff there. We also have, which I did share with Hoss. Hoss will be getting his, and Fire gets one of his own, as you guys might have... Oh, you guys didn't see it. I shared with them. We also have
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go make a cup of coffee.
Go ahead. I'm going to advertise this just so you know about we're talking about the cups. We also have the cups. Speaking of coffee, you can use that when you get that cup. We also have their sort of stainless steel thermoses, Yeti brand, which is what we look for. And we have the logo, What's Up Bro podcast show on there. It's available. We don't have that on the site there, but if you guys are interested, we have some photos that we're going to post. If you guys are interested in that, we have those available. We also have, we can do some other like jackets and shirts and things that are not actively visible on the store. But everything primarily as far as inventory is located at the official studio store, so check it out. Lots of great stuff there. Awesome, and hopefully you guys can find what you're looking for. Great for Christmas, birthday gifts, just any kind of occasion if you want, or buy your own if you want something personal. Every podcast that we offer, we have the logo there. We have the studio logo, images of myself and Big Hoss. We have our own individual photos there based on our individual podcasts that we do. So check it out. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys will do that, but you can get yours there. We might offer a promo code. We haven't done that yet. I'm going to look into doing that, but if you are a first-time buyer, maybe we can try to get some kind of promotional code there for you guys. You can check out there as well. So we are going to take a break, actually. Perfect timing, because Hoss wants to make himself a cup of coffee. So let's take a pause here. We're actually due for our first break anyway. So glad you guys are listening. And again, it's not live, but we're there with you guys in spirit, and this is why we have this available, so that you guys can enjoy yourself and have a lot of great entertainment for you all. After this weekend, starting next weekend, we should be back to normal, beginning of end of May and into June. We have Memorial Day coming up. We might be doing a special there. We'll let you guys know. Stay tuned to stay up to date with that. We'll definitely keep you guys posted and in the loop. We'll take a quick break here if you guys want to use a bathroom break, or get yourselves a snack like Big Hoss was doing. You can go find your favorite snack now. Come back. There's plenty more to go. We're going to be going for probably about another 45 minutes yet. Special longer episode tonight. So we'll come back and chill with you guys some more, and that way we can have a lot of fun entertainment there, because obviously this episode will be up Saturday night. We had no episode for Friday night, so it's a special extra long episode, just one for this weekend, and then we'll be back to our normal schedule next week. So stick around, you guys. Stay tuned for more. Of course, as always, we love and appreciate all your support there. Look forward to seeing you guys back here in just a moment. Stay tuned. Do not go away for more at the What's Up Bro podcast show, brought to you by the one and only J&J Production Studios. We'll see you guys in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Hey audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out there. It is I, Sam Crow, along with Big Hoss. This is the What's Up Bro podcast show brought to you by J&J Production Studios, none other than, of course, the one and only, your true home for entertainment. We're hanging out with you guys. Tonight officially begins, as we like to call it, our Summer Slam Fest. We're beginning the summer festivities early because, well, to be honest, summer is actually just about on top of us anyway, so really it's the best appropriate time to start to boot. But we're kicking things off here. We're talking about some summer goodies, some summer favorites. Sharing a little bit about, in case you guys missed the beginning of the show, if you're just tuning in here, thank you so much for joining us. We are not currently live, in case you didn't catch that. This is pre-recorded. This is up and available for Saturday night. We did this on Thursday just because of a busy weekend coming up. So if you guys, as I said before the break too, we will be back to regular schedule next weekend. But for now, we wanted to give you guys something, didn't want to leave you hanging, so this is what we have for you. But if you're just catching this here, I was sharing a little bit about, if you guys didn't know, sharing our social medias. I was a special guest on a podcast this past week, on Tuesday night, actually, to be more specific. I was plugging our studio here, plugging the shows that we have, excuse me, talking a little bit about what we do here. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of great things, and I got to say, I really wasn't too nervous about it, just because, well, I shouldn't say I wasn't too nervous. I didn't know what to expect because I wasn't proofed beforehand. I wasn't prepared. So the questions that came at me were sort of ones that the host came up with, so I just kind of went with it. But it worked out really well, and I hope that it helped to bring us some new audience members that drew our attention there. So it might be one of you guys listening. If you are, welcome. We'd love to have you guys here. The more the merrier, of course. We want to have as many people. We don't limit to anybody, so hopefully you will be a regular. We'd love to have you with us. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of great conversation there. Love to get back on there again. Hopefully we'll set up something soon. But yeah, it's really awesome. We're looking forward to that. We're trying to get some more guests for our show, and we mentioned we have UFC fighter Miranda Maverick will be rejoining us again over this next a couple months. She'll be back with us. We're going to talk about her big fight coming up in June. A lot of fun. If you guys missed the first show with her, check it out. It's available. It's up on the YouTube channel. It's available on all the streaming services. The episode's there. You can download it if you want to. A lot of fun, a lot of awesomeness there. So let's turn attention back to summer. I'm going to ask this question for Hoss there. So what are you looking forward to summertime? Is summertime something you look forward to specifically, or do you just go with the flow generally?
I like to go camping, but I haven't been able to go in a while.
It's hard, yeah, and again, that's part of like trip planning. I mean, that's something that we definitely have to plan that. I will say this, and we talk about it, and I was thinking more about it the other day. I want to share with Hustler too. We're definitely going to make the camping trip happen, and if that means I have to travel out, I can travel out to you. That's fine. We want to have a camping trip where we go away and we get lost in the woods and we rough it, as much as we can. I'm not looking forward to the bathroom situation there, but I'm willing to try it. But yeah, it really is a lot of fun. And well, I'll say this: I I don't mind standing up to, but if I have to sit behind a bush, that's really what kind of makes me nervous. I will bring my own.
You afraid a snake's gonna come and get you?
No, I'm more afraid I'm gonna wipe my ass with poison ivy. I'm gonna probably make sure I bring my own toilet paper, because I've heard horror stories about that, and I really don't want to find out how badly that itches in the butt crack. So, yeah, and I've had poison ivy on most of my body throughout my life. The ass area is not one of what I've had yet, and I really am not curious to find out what that feels like. So, definitely want to stay away from that. But as far as roughing it, I'm okay sleeping on the ground. I don't mind being outside, so it's not a huge...
We'll have tents, motherfucker. It won't be like this.
Well, yeah, even with tents, though, I mean, we're still technically laying on the ground in a manner of speaking, so... But, I mean, irregardless, I'm definitely bringing the jerky. Beef jerky is something you gotta have on a camping trip, so that's one thing that gets me excited about doing that. And, I have stuff prepared. Like I do have an actual heavy duty backpack that I can take for camping. So, and I have That's there's gonna be some smoking some peyote out there in the howling with the wolves at night. It could be interesting. Now, that's something that again I'm not one that has been super interested with, but there's always. I don't begrudge anybody who sits around doing that. So I will say this though, I definitely, if we bring alcohol on the trip, I will get myself lit up that night. So I'm willing to.
And then I'm going to be babysitting a Sam.
I'll be passed out drunk. Yeah, like literally, like I'll have 2 drinks if that, and I'll be like drooling on the ground. Like okay, I'm done. So
you're not allowed to drink then.
So we have to put a preface on what the alcohol is. If we're careful with it, I can't drink super hard stuff. If I do, then I will pass out. But Coke and rum I can handle. I can drink some rum there. I can drink that straight up. That doesn't bother me. Not a huge beer drinker, so even if I wanted to, I can't stomach that. So that's not going to be an issue, but yeah, I mean, I will say this: I've actually had moments where I've gotten plastered, which I know Hoss would love to see those because they were pretty. I remember I have some memories of it, not entirely. Just as an example.
and you did something.
So, just as an example, and it wasn't funny at the time, but
It's funny now.
well, it is now. I can laugh about it now. I was having a bad day, and I did drink quite a bit, like enough to like really make me. I was seriously like everything was spinning. So got to that point and became sort of like the asshole type. I decided to do yard work, so I went outside and I'm like, I'm gonna dig some holes for whatever reason. So I took a shovel and I was digging holes out in the yard. And after,
What the fuck were you digging?
I don't know. I think it was just yard. I think there was mulching that had to be done or something. But the funny part of that was after a few digs, I got the shovel. I'm getting dirt everywhere, mud everywhere because the hose is out. I must have dug about 5 or 6 holes. Then I put the shovel in the dirt, stood back to like admire my work. And as I stood back to it, I went and I fell down and hit into the dirt. Got back up. I tripped and I fell back down in the dirt again. Couldn't get up. I had mud everywhere. Finally staggered up going, yep, those are holes. So, what was the other one? I did something else. What was, I don't usually puke. I didn't do that. I think I fell off the bed. I was laying in the bed and I went to get out of bed. I was still pretty plastered. I was laying down to try to like sleep the alcohol off because usually if I go to bed it wears off, and I drank plenty of water, but apparently I was still a little tipsy because I went to get out of bed. I sat up, decided I don't need to ease myself down. I'm just going to jump right out of bed. So I swung my leg off, and I swung all of me off. So I went flying out of bed and hit the floor pretty fast. So got down there and going, ow. Like, okay, that hurt. Like, man, but yeah. But most of it's just I tend to pass out. That's usually my alcohol binge. Tends to what usually happens. So. Which it can be funny though. I've never really tried it to where I've been super liquored up, so I don't even know like if I start taking my clothes off though, you might have to start hosing me down. So I don't know if it'll get that bad, but
I'm throwing you in the tent, locking the fucking pin on your ass, motherfucker.
putting a padlock on it, like stay there. You ain't coming out till I say so.
Detox, motherfucker, detox.
Oh man. That would be, like they say people dancing naked on the table. I don't dance, but
I don't want to see that side of Sam Crow.
Well, here's one bright side, though. I will tell you, I am a happy drunk. I'm not a mean drunk, so if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, and I'm the I love you drunk, so how's that going to work out?
Well, I almost want to say if we're not careful, we might be making out, so we got to be careful there.
Yeah,
that's I get a little too emotional, and if you're that affectionate, I tend to reciprocate. So that this ain't no Brokeback Mountain shit. We're not going to start that. So
no, if you start taking your clothes off, getting that way, I'm locking you in the fucking tent, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, I do like to cuddle, so there's a.
No, I'm locking your ass in the tent. You get a cuddle with the tent, motherfucker.
I'll get poison ivy on my divine rod there, if you will, if Hoss knows what that is. So, yeah, no, it could be. Well, see, that's the.
Man, I am not playing doctor to fix it.
Well, someone's got to rub the ointment on it. I don't know if I could do it in my condition.
You get to do it.
That's fair. The whole point we're saying is we don't want to get to that point because that would be. Could you imagine? Let's paint this picture. Let's go a little bit further with this. Hoss and I in the woods, we get hammered. Okay, we get drink 3 bottles, 4 bottles, whatever. The poor animals in the woods are going to have to hear all this stuff. God knows what's going to come out of our mouths. And people are going to start investigating when they start seeing all the wildlife running for their lives out of the forest into like the neighborhoods. Because they're like, why are these creatures fleeing their homes? And they start venturing into the woods and they hear these really weird sounds and singing coming from the middle of like the camping area. We could be sitting there buck-ass naked singing show tunes. I mean, I can just picture it. And the sad part is
and then Sam Crow starts chasing the fucking bunny.
Yeah, I would do that. Let me give you a hug. I literally would, yeah.
I'll take off running.
No, I meant the bunny rabbit. I'd be like, the bunny, come here, let me give you a hug. Like, I'm in that good kind of But you know what's sad about that? You notice how vivid that picture is? What does that tell you? I can actually see that happening if I have that vivid of a picture of it. Like, that's going to be, yeah, that could be very interesting. So we don't want it to go that far because I don't want to wake up in a foxhole somewhere cuddled up with Smokey the Bear. Yeah.
It'll soon be, I had Sam Crow for lunch, the bear.
Yeah, I've already had my fair share of bear experiences. I don't need another one like that, so that's, yeah.
I would die laughing. I would die laughing if you ran into a bear. Because I could just totally see you take off running.
No, you know what I would do? I'd probably be so...
We'll be diving back in the tent.
I probably would be so drunk, I probably would just walk up and give the bear a hug. So that's, really the whole, I wouldn't have the wherewithal to like run and be like, oh, you're so fuzzy and soft, let me hug you. So, yeah, no, that wouldn't go over too well. But, yeah, this is...
You need to watch Cocaine Bear before we go to the camping.
Oh, cocaine, yeah, I'll check that. I heard, yeah, remember you mentioned, I'll check. Here's the fun part. Like I said, this is... You guys might think this is ridiculous, but truthfully, we say this because it really could happen that way. And
knowing us, it could.
Yeah, it's not unimaginable or unrealistic to think that, because even the stuff like Hoss will tell you, some of the stories that we share when we hang out and we chat like over online and stuff. I still remember the pink elephant incident. So,
let's not share that.
But it's stuff
okay,
like.
Let's share it.
Go ahead.
It's a good one. So, Hoss may have or may have not consumed some mushrooms that night.
Which means he did. Spoiler warning.
And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a pink elephant with titties. And I say, Sam Crow, do you see the pink elephant with titties? And he's all, no, it must be those shrooms you've taken. And for the whole night, I kept seeing it. We were on video chat, by the way. The whole night, I kept saying, fucking, there's a pink elephant with titties staring at me.
And I kept saying, how many titties do you see now? Is it 2 or is there 4?
And I said, there's 4. There's 4 motherfucking titties looking at me, motherfucker.
It was, yeah, you had to be there. Like this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why also we need to, the other preface is if we go into the woods alone, we need to make sure people know where we are in case we don't come back when we say we're coming back. Because...
we might have to come find
That's what I'm like.
You know it's Sam Crow's the driver. He might get lost in the fucking woods.
Well, yeah.
We're camping here.
Well, here's a funny... I'll tell you, speaking of getting lost, this is why I would get lost. So today, which is Thursday... So Miss Eliza and I are having... We already are married, but we're having the big wedding this weekend. But what we did was we rented a rental car to just have a nice car to go away. And so the smart guy that I was, we went to the rental car place, and she was driving herself, and I had to drive myself back. Well, I forgot to take my phone with me. There's no GPS in the car. And she goes, you know how to get back, right? Well, sort of. So... I nearly got lost. Well, here's what was even funnier was I knew how to take the rope to come back home. She was going somewhere else, but I was literally following her bumper to bumper just about. So the exit I was coming to, I needed to get off. She puts her turn signal on. I'm like, that's weird. Why is she putting her turn signal on? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just follow her because I got to go this way. Well, then she turns it off because she's supposed to keep going straight. But then I kept going straight. And then she hits the turn signal again. So then I realized, oh, she's sending me a signal I'm supposed to turn off, not follow her. I almost followed her going the wrong way. So if we do let me drive going camping, we need a GPS of some sorts, at least till we get to the parking area, to the campsite, and maybe a map to walk in the woods, because we probably will end up, if we're going camp...
Well, I was thinking about that. I was thinking we just go to Chatfield or something.
That works, yeah. I mean, if it's already...
We do not need to take you into the woods.
I'll get lost. Because I'm not afraid to admit it. As much as I like to be a tough guy with that, in some instances in foreign places in the woods, yeah, they don't mix. I'd be walking in a circle for days. So, and the sad part would be, like, you could picture this. This would be me if I went in the woods by myself. the people that are living, like, human interaction is here. I would only be this far away, but I would still be walking in a circle lost. Yeah, I was stranded here for days, and here, like, people are like 10 feet from me. Like, it's that bad. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I mean, I'm not terrible, but I do have moments. I'll tell this story. I don't think Hoss even heard this story. You want to hear a really good story getting lost? So I know you're not too familiar with the East Coast, but there's a city in Pennsylvania called Pittsburgh. Are you familiar with Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So it's roughly where I'm about. It's about a 6-hour drive from where I'm at currently. Now, at this time in this story, this goes back, let me see, about 15, 16 years ago. It was an old girlfriend I was seeing at the time. And we were hanging out. We went out to dinner. I forget what all we did at the night. But anyway, had to drive her back home. She lived in PA, nearby where I live now. I was going back home to Jersey, but I had to drop her off first. Well, here's where this is pretty sad. Now, keep in mind, I've only been driving not too long. I just started, so that's my first part of my defense. Okay, just to be clear. So, I laugh at it now. It wasn't funny at the time, but this is so hysterical. Like, everybody tells me, how stupid were you? But we were out in, I think we were in Allentown area, which is a smaller city in Pennsylvania. Now, to get back her home, it was only about maybe a half an hour drive going one direction. Now, how I did this, I don't know. Somehow, I ended up on the wrong side of the road, and I was driving what I thought was the right direction, and I kept going, and I said to myself, nothing looks familiar, but we'll keep going because we have to hit there somewhere. Well, we're on the road. It's been about, let's see, how long was it? It had to be at least a good hour and a half. And she's even like, we should have been home by now. And I'm like, I'm not going to go home till like 4 o'clock in the morning because it was already like midnight. Well, here, I looked at the sign. I'm halfway to Pittsburgh. Totally the opposite direction where I'm supposed to go. I went the wrong way. I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. So instead of driving closer this way, I drove way out of the way the opposite direction. Did you ever see the movie Dumb and Dumber? Have you seen that movie with...
Yeah.
You remember how, like, they go the wrong way. Instead of driving towards Aspen, they drive all the way back going the other direction? I basically did that. Why this story got even funnier is because I didn't call anybody. I don't think I had a cell phone at that time. So I had no cell phone. At this point, until we got back, it was nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. My parents were freaked out. I ended up taking my girlfriend home with me because... I found a way back to Jersey. I'm like, I can't get you home right now. We got home. We called her parents to let them know, yeah, she'll be here overnight. Different rooms, though, of course. But my parents, the next day, they're laughing at me going, how in the hell did you wind up going... Oh, I almost drove halfway to Pittsburgh. Like, that's a 6-hour car ride. I drove halfway there. Like, how did you get that lost? I don't know, but I did. So... Had I kept driving, I would have drove 6 hours. I would have been in Pittsburgh probably by morning. Been like, oh shit. No phone, no money. Like, I mean, I had enough gas, but still, like, it was pretty bad. So yeah, directionally challenged is a fair assessment to say for me, just because we'd get lost. So yeah, the safest thing to do is an area that we know we can walk shortly and that we can get to, and that there's human contact or there's a ranger station nearby, so we don't get lost or eaten by wild animals. So, because that would be and that would be my other biggest thing. I'd be afraid. I'd have to designate areas to go to the bathroom because if I wander too far from the campsite, I could still get lost. So, I have to make sure that what I'm going to do is this. If we have the tents pitched and we're at a certain campsite, I'm going to get a really long piece of string. I'm going to tie it to the tent. So when I walk off into the woods to go to the bathroom, I can kind of find my way back so I don't get lost. Because I will be like, I'll be stranded. I'll be starving after like a half an hour and be like, I've been dying out here even though I've only been out here for a half an hour. So yeah, no, we don't want to do that. That would be bad. And what's even worse is, if I actually have to be careful. I might have to actually lock me in the tent at night because if I'm liquored up and I wander out to use the bathroom, I'll probably walk home. So that could be. We'll have to put the tents in one area. We're gonna have to dig a trench around there. We're gonna have to lock everything up. You're gonna have to tie me up and stake me to the ground so I can't get up. And then, we should be good. So there, see, there's all this planning though. That's the thing. Like, you have to do that because, and again, you guys, this sounds ridiculous, but this stuff really could happen. Like, there's no joke here. I mean, if they're capable of having this happen, I mean, here's another good one for you. This happened actually recently. This will be probably one the host will enjoy also. You always have that fear like you're going to leave the oven on at night when you're cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did that the other night. Left the oven on for almost a whole 2 hours. So she looked at me, she said, "Did you turn the oven off?" I thought I did. Went over, we were sitting down watching, 2 hours later, watching TV going, "Oh shit, the lights are on. I left the oven on." So, well, the good news is the house didn't catch fire. She's like, "That's not comforting because now I worry about you using the stove." So, I mean, it wasn't bad, but, so that's the other thing. I mean, I can do fire. I can make a fire. I can cook over an open flame. I'm perfectly safe, but leaving the oven on, leaving the lights on sometimes, that could be problematic, but it could still be fun. And really, I think the risk is worth the reward because, if we know ourselves well enough, we don't put ourselves in those predicaments, then we'll be fine. And again, we have an action plan. We have people know where we are, and we say, if we're not back in 3 days, come look for us at this location.
I'm thinking of more than 3 days, motherfucker.
Oh, okay, maybe a week. So if you don't hear from us in a week, then we'll have a phone there. We'll have a hotspot. You can track us there because, I mean, the sad part is, too, it's so easy. A lot of times, like, not even on purpose or by accident, it's so easy to get lost that I don't know how many stories you hear. People go camping, and sometimes even, like, younger kids, they just wander off. And it's not on purpose, but you get so disoriented that you just don't realize where you are. And it's horrible, but, these are real problems that could happen and arise. So we just want to make sure we avoid that. So, but yeah, as I say, this is not... You're all probably sitting there going, these two guys probably shouldn't be allowed to leave the house, let alone the state. But, I mean...
Fuck you.
I mean, okay, not in your case. For me, it would be. But, I mean,
Yeah, if you get drunk, I'm going to have to lock you in the fucking tent, motherfucker.
I'm going to say, because if you don't do that, we'll be camping in Colorado. I'll wake up and find myself in California. So... It's really...
Yeah, I'm going to have to tie a leash on you.
No, you know what you do? You get me one of those cowbells, a little bell around my neck like the cats wear. And like, where's the bell? Ding, 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 where'd you go? Like, yeah, it's that kind of bad. But I mean, at least we can acknowledge that because some people don't. And shame on you if you don't acknowledge that. Listen, you got to know your limitations, so just make sure that you guys prepare if you go camping or you go on a fishing trip, or you go to the beach, or you go ice fishing, which some people do that, but just have a plan. Nowadays, we have technology that works. But see, that's the other thing. Even having technology that works, when you're out in the middle of the woods, cell phones don't always work out there. Internet doesn't work out there. So we will literally be roughing it. We're going to have to do... I've seen movies like this. Haas and I will be out there. Our clothes are all torn up. We're stranded for days. Give me a boost. I got to climb the tree to get cell service. Let me see if I can get my phone to... I got 1 bar. I got 2 bars.
I got 3 bars. Success.
Like, don't move. Stand on 1 foot. Hold me up high in the air. Hello? There was actually...
We're stuck in the woods. Can you help us?
There's actually a really good movie. I can't think of the name. It's called Fall. It's a relatively newer movie, and it reminds me of this because it wasn't a camping trip. This was a scary-ass movie. These girls climbed... like the tallest, this old like metal tower. It was like 2,000 feet in the air. Like you could see like the entire world.
No.
Well, they got stranded up there. They got stuck. And I'm like, yeah.
We ain't making Hots climb no metal pole.
No.
Fucking trees.
I don't like heights.
That ass will get up there and get stuck.
I don't like heights, so I can't. I mean, I can climb a tree,
I don't like
but
heights either. I can't do that.
I can't. No, I can't even like. If it's an emergency situation, I would do what we have to do. But on an average basis, no, I probably wouldn't. Just because.
No, you're the designated tree climber, motherfucker. You're skinnier than.
I can do. Yeah, I can do that. That's not a big deal. But I mean, it's got to. I can't be like, super high. But I'd be high enough to get a good look at everything. I mean, I've fallen out of a tree once, but that was my own stupidity. So, I'm not really worried about that.
Why did you fall out of a tree?
Well, I was climbing the tree, and I was trying to step on a branch, and I got too overeager, so I jumped from one branch to another, and I totally missed the branch, and so I fell out of the tree. So that wasn't as embarrassing.
You didn't break any bones on that.
No, I just hit the ground pretty good, but I didn't break any bones, but it wasn't as fun as when that time I climbed the tree. I fell out of the tree, but when I went to fall out of the tree, my foot got stuck, so I'm hanging like this upside down by one foot. And I'm looking towards the kitchen because my mom was doing dishes, and I'm like, "Hey, Ma, like, hello," like the blood's rushing to my head. So, yeah, I'm not usually danger prone or accident prone, but there are moments. I can be man enough to admit that it's not my finest moments, but I'm trying to think what would be a dumb scenario. I know I've had at least one. What's a good example of that? I shouldn't say that. I never electrocuted myself, not yet. Probably the most dumbest thing I ever do is fall down the stairs. I haven't done that for a while, but you know how you say you watch that first step because it's a doozy if you miss it?
Yeah.
That's really true because you fall down 13 steps. Yeah, that hurts. So, on wooden floor. So, I'm trying to think of another good one. I've walked into things, like not on purpose, but I'm not one of those though. Like I love watching those videos. If you ever watch them online, people like. I'll never forget the one. It was so hilarious. This was several years ago. There was a woman that was walking in a mall, in a shopping, like one of the big shopping malls. And you know how like the malls have these big fountains in the middle of them, right? So this lady was walking. She's like this with her phone. She's staring at her phone. She's walking. Doesn't look up at all. And she walks. She trips and falls in the fountain. Now, what makes this story super hilarious is a few months later, the same exact woman in the same exact mall does the exact same thing. She's not paying attention. She falls on the other side of the fountain. People laugh like, lady, you should learn not to go to the mall with your cell phone and not, because clearly you can't walk and talk at the same time. And she literally she was walking both sides of the mall. She fell in both ends of the pond of the fountain there on two different occasions. It's hysterical, but I'm not that bad. I can chew gum, I can walk, I can ride bike, I can stand. I'm usually pretty good balance-wise. I don't text and drive, do any of that stuff. And none of you guys shouldn't do that either, so don't get any ideas. We are not advocating that whatsoever. That's a pretty bad idea. But, yeah, so we have to have a plan. But we have a good idea. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses. And again, as long as we don't do anything dumb like get eaten by bears, we should be fine. Or get poison ivy real bad, or eat poisonous. Just don't eat the wild mushrooms out there if you're not positive what they are. That could be a problem.
I should invite my friend to go camping with us.
There you go. The more the merrier. And again, as long as we don't get too drunk and start, getting into naked pillow fights, we'll be good. So,
no naked pillow fights.
Yeah, that's
definitely if we're staying at Chatfield, motherfucker.
Yeah, I should say this way: we definitely, again, no Brokeback Mountain situations. We don't want that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so it could be quite adventurous. Now, what we will do is, because we can't broadcast for that, we'll be happy to share with you guys everything that happens when we come back, because clearly we are going to be in an area where we're not going to be able to have internet.
Well, if we go to Chatfield, we'll have cell phone service.
Oh, there you go. Then maybe that's a possibility. We could try to give you guys some highlights if you really are curious to know what's going on. So,
hold on, I gotta take this phone call. Be right back.
Go ahead. I'll hold down the fort there. Again, we're always busy here, you guys. There's always something going on at the studio here. Actually, perfect timing. We should take at least one more break because we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. Our time is almost there. We're about 3/4 of the way there. So let's take a short pause here. We'll get Hoss back on the line. We'll share a few more stories with you guys. This is going to be really fun. This is Summer Slam Fest. We're going to talk all things summer. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for us to do the special shows. Like, we want to do something for 4th of July, something in June. Just want to enjoy the nice weather. I think maybe we'll do a show outside one day. Maybe we'll get things set up there. That's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will stick with us and stay tuned for that. We're going to have lots more fun to come there. So many great projects coming up. So many things on the docket that we have coming. So hope you guys will continue this journey. But we're so appreciative to each and every one of you. You know, again, we always say that, but we don't mean it any less every time. But this is really why we do it. We have a lot of fun. We enjoy it. And we wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much for your support there. It means the world to us. we hope we have some new fans coming from listening to the interview on Vigilantes Radio. We'd love to have you guys listen, so come check it out and become part of the family here. We're one big, large, happy family, and we love you guys, and just you'll be one of us for sure. So come check it out. Come join us. Stay with us there. Check out this wild, crazy, wacky journey that we have. We appreciate you guys. Again, we just can't get enough of it, and we just want to thank you so much. And we can't wait for you guys to see what's coming. We got a lot of great projects. We're going to see where things go down the road as things grow, and as we see what we can improve, we're going to add things here and there. So make sure you guys stick with us to find out what that is and contribute by showing us your support there. We thank you guys so much for that. So stay tuned. Short more pause here. Still more show to come. It's a special longer episode tonight because it's our only episode for this weekend. We're so glad you guys chose to listen. But we're so grateful to be here. And of course, as always, we'll be back regular time next weekend for more. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We have more to come yet here at the show on your Thursday night, your Saturday night, which is technically was Thursday night because that's when we recorded this episode. But either way, hope you guys are enjoying this episode. We look forward to being back with you guys live again soon. Stick around. More to come. Stay tuned.
Are you enjoying the show? Do you want even more great content? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show's link tree for all studio accounts, including the official show website, brought to you by J&J Production Studios. Catch all your favorite episodes of the show when they're uploaded. Curious to know who makes the show possible? Meet the cast and crew. Discover the magic behind the microphone, not just in front with our staff bios. Want to chat with other audience fans? Enter the forums section. Talk, engage, and interact with listeners from all over the globe. Not on social media and want the latest information? Then subscribe to the podcast newsletter and get everything delivered straight to your inbox. No matter what, you'll always stay connected. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Do what you want, do what you want, do it. Do what you want, do what you want, do it.
All right, welcome back, guys. Sorry about that. Kind of off-time that just a little bit, but not too bad overall. So glad you guys are still here. I know, again, it's only pre-recorded, and hopefully you guys are listening to this episode in its entirety, but we're so thankful that you guys are part of our show for tonight. Again, in case you're just tuning in or just finding this out now here, this is a pre-recorded episode, and we are not live. We will be live, though, next weekend. We should be back to our regular schedule after this busy weekend concludes. We've had a couple of busy weekends, again, back-to-back, which... Again, we're just like all of you guys. We have stuff going on too, so it's not uncommon for that kind of thing to happen. But we wanted to do an extra special, longer episode for you guys tonight, which is what we have here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We are actually going to end here now. I know it's a few minutes early, but Big Hoss actually got pulled away on some business there, so he's not able to make it back. So he gives his best wishes. Make sure to remind you guys not to drink and drive, and to make sure that you guys have a good time and take care of yourselves there. And he'll see you next time. So with that, guys, too, we're going to sign off here. And, again, we're so thankful that you guys are part of us. We love what we do here. We're so glad to have you guys listening to us each weekend. Again, it's amazing. We're just so thankful. We didn't think this was going to really go anywhere, and it's still growing. We have high hopes that this will continue to grow even more so, but the amount of progress we've made so far, we couldn't be any more thrilled. So thank you guys for being a part of that. We love you guys. Appreciate you all so much. Stay tuned for more updates. Make sure you check out our social media and follow us there if you haven't yet already. Of course, you can check out all the podcast streaming services. If you like this episode, there's others available. Check them out. You can listen to them there. You can download them on your favorite device. Anywhere you can take them with us, we will have you there. We'll be there for you any time of day or night. If you just want to put us on to go to sleep to, that's fine too. We are a full-service industry here. We try to do everything we can for you guys. So with that being the case, we wish you all a happy rest of your weekend because, again, this will be up on Saturday night. Hope you guys will have a great start to your week. We look forward to seeing you guys next weekend when we will be back regular time and regularly live. We'll have some of our friends back joining us. Again, we have some special guests lined up. We'll keep you guys posted there. Some other great projects coming up here as we begin. This is the start of our Summer Slam Fest series that we're starting. This is all summer long. This is going to be the theme for our shows coming up. Cannot wait. This is going to be the first summer that we really have to start from beginning to end, and we're going to make the most of it. We're going to maximize that. So many great surprises yet to come. Hope you guys will stick around and stay tuned for that. So, for me here, of course, Sam Crow, and for the rest of us at J&J Production Studios, wish you guys health and wealth. I said the quote wrong. Excuse me. I'm butchering that. Health and wealth. Hope you guys to be wealthy, but also healthy. That's the main thing. So just be happy and be healthy and be safe. That's the biggest and most important thing, because even though the weather is nice, you can still get ill, and it's allergy season as well as terrible. So just take care of yourselves. We want to see you guys back here in good condition and great shape for you and your family and all your loved ones that mean the most to you. So until next time, we do say goodbye for now. But, of course, now and as always, we will see you guys next time at the show. Have a great night. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the What's Up Bro show. Catch all the latest live action on your favorite podcast streaming services, including Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. You can also check out episodes on the studio's official YouTube channel. Subscribe and become a member today. Don't forget to also turn on notifications so you'll know when new content is uploaded. Stay tuned and don't miss a single moment. We love and appreciate all your support. And as always, we will see you at the show.